What I would say to Trump supporters are two things. Focus not on what Trump says, but what he does. And what he's going to do is cut programs that you and your families need. Do you really think it's appropriate to cut Medicaid substantially? Those are families, your families, may not be able to get the health care that they need.
So Brian Tyler Cohen interviewed Bernie Sanders, and they talked about the dangers of Elon Musk and Donald Trump's administration 2.0. We're going to take a look at these clips of Brian Tyler Cohen interviewing Bernie Sanders. I have my opinions on this as well. Let's check this out together.
I'm joined now by Senator Bernie Sanders. Thanks for taking the time.
My pleasure.
So we're in the aftermath of an election that was largely predicated on this idea that Trump would be lowering costs for Americans. This was the high grocery cost election. Now Trump and Elon have come in, taken an axe to the federal government through the DOJ Commission. Is what they're doing lowering costs?
No, of course it's not, but let's back up just for a little bit and see where we are. Because, Brian, we are in literally an unprecedented moment in modern American history. When we look at Mr. Musk, everybody has got to understand this is the wealthiest guy in the world right now, worth over $400 billion. You talk about Trump's getting elected and inaugurated. Musk put over $270 million into Trump's campaign, and guess what? He's now the most important person in government. What does that sound like you? Does that sound like a democracy, a government of the people, by the people, or for the people? Or is it really an oligarchy doing the bidding of the very richest people? All right, that's number one. Number two, what concerns me very much is the move toward authoritarianism in this country. You have Trump circumventing and bypassing Congress, deciding, hey, it doesn't matter what Congress did. Congress put money into this project. I'm going to do away with it. I don't want to spend that money. It's gone. And that means programs for low-income, working-class people going to be gone. Fortunately, the courts are beginning to put a stop to what he's doing. But that is what he wants to do. But you don't have a democracy if you circumvent the legislative body. And then he's going after the courts. You heard J.D. Vance saying, well, the courts don't have a right to stop what the president is doing. No, really? I mean, that's what 100 plus years of American jurisprudence has been about. So you got oligarchy, and then you have this movement toward authoritarianism. Now, to answer your question, what is the goal? What is the end goal here? The end goal of oligarchy is to make the richest people who are already phenomenally rich even richer. So how do you do that? Well, you do that through massive tax breaks. Well, where do you get the money to provide trillions of dollars in tax breaks? You cut programs that working people need. Just today, the House brought forth their budget reconciliation bill, an outline of it, talking about huge tax breaks, the very richest people, while they're cutting Medicaid very significantly, and I suspect other programs as well. So you're asking me, are they going to cut costs for working people? No, they're not. They're going to give tax breaks to the rich, and they're going to make massive cuts in programs that working families desperately need.
Well, to that point, Senator, the Republicans just released their budget plan, and they're seeking a $4 trillion increase in the debt limit, and that would offset $4.5 trillion in tax cuts.
Brian, could that possibly be true? The Republicans who've been telling us for years what a big concern it is that we have a large national debt. They want to increase the national debt by $4 trillion, right? And obviously they want to do that to feed the hungry and to house the homeless and to make sure that everybody has health care, right? Well, maybe not. I mean, it is so ugly and so ridiculous. What they want to do is to increase the national debt. They want to cut Medicaid and other desperately needed programs for working people. To do what? To give massive tax breaks primarily to the wealthy and large corporations. That's what this whole thing is about.
And Bernie Sanders has honestly been sounding the alarm on this for decades. You just know Bernie's thinking, seriously, I've been shouting about this for 40, 50 years, talking about wealth inequality, the influence of billionaires, and how the ultra-rich are running everything. And the truth is, it's even worse now than it was when Bernie was warning us back during the Reagan era. This is like Ronald Reagan, but taken to the extreme. People overuse the phrase on steroids, But in this case, it's Reagan on steroids, meth, cocaine throw. In any drug you can think of, this is on a whole different level. We've never seen anything quite like it. I'm not even sure if this was public when Brian Tyler Cohen sat down with Bernie Sanders for that interview, but just recently it came out that Elon Musk signed a deal with the government to supply $400 million worth of electric armored vehicles. Now, as I'm recording this, there are some mixed updates. It looks like they might be pulling back on that a bit because there was so much backlash. And here's the thing, if there's any small upside here, it's that even this administration, which has been acting like it wants full control, ignoring court decisions and all of that, even they respond to public pressure when enough people speak up, calling their reps, reaching out to local and state officials, those politicians start getting nervous. And when that happens, they start pushing back on the White House like, hey, we're hearing from a lot of people, you've got to ease up. So yeah, sometimes they backpedal. That's the only real leverage people still have.
Keep your eyes on the prize. That's what it's about.
Well, a lot of the branding, a lot of the messaging that Republicans have been putting forward is that they're cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. And so they immediately go after USAID, they immediately go after the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And so what does it say that while they're nickel and diming these programs, which by the way, as far as the CFPB is concerned, that's a program that costs $800 million a year, returned $21 billion to consumers who've been ripped off by predatory banks. You look at USAID, a half of 1% of the budget delivers essential programs like clean water, food for refugees, HIV prevention, and helps us with soft power around the world. And so you have these massive benefits for a fraction of the cost, and that's to nickel and dime us out of those programs. But when you're looking to pass tax cuts that would cost us $4.5 trillion, apparently that's totally fine.
I think as a nation, we've got to take a deep breath. I think you framed the question exactly right. Is there waste in every government program? Yeah, there is. Is there waste in every corporation? Yeah, there is. But what they will do is use the issue of waste to kind of destroy entire programs. In terms of USAID, you make very important points. This is a program which is keeping hungry children alive, treating people who have HIV and other preventable diseases. And in terms of quote-unquote soft power, what it means is that all over the world, people are saying, thank you, Americans. Thank you for keeping us alive, for feeding our children, for giving us some housing. And that is a positive for us in terms of dealing with global issues all over the world, winning support from people. Going after the Consumer Financial CFP, I always get the initials wrong.
Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB.
All right, this is something that protects consumers from predatory banks. And going after that will just make it easier for banks and large corporations to rip us off. So to answer your question, this is exactly what is going on. When there are programs that help desperate people, we kill them. When there are programs that help large corporations and big banks, those are the programs Republicans will support.
So then what?
And once again, Bernie Sanders is completely right here. When it comes to the CFPB, I mean, unless you're running a credit card company, I don't see why you'd be against it. But what happens? You've got regular people siding against it just because Donald Trump or Elon Musk claim it's a bad thing. Like, that's all it takes. Trump says it's terrible, so suddenly it has to go. But seriously, why would the average person be against something like the CFPB? It's literally there to stop companies from scamming people, from overcharging, adding hidden fees, or just ripping folks off. Like, it's supposed to protect you. And yet, here we are. Brian Tyler Cohen nailed it when he said they're nickel and diming everything. That's exactly what I've been saying since they started coming after USAID and other similar programs. And sure, you'll hear Elon Musk toss around numbers like 25 million here, 50 million there. But how do we even know what's true? There's no neutral reporting. Just the other day, Elon Musk was caught spreading wrong info, and his response, well, we're not going to get everything right. Like, come on. So how do we know this money they're supposedly saving is actually waste or fraud? That we don't. But yeah, 50 million sounds like a lot to us. But in the context of a $20 trillion economy, like it's a drop in the bucket, and the GOP wants to raise the debt ceiling by $4 or $5 trillion, but they're nitpicking pennies elsewhere. If they were truly serious about cutting waste, fraud, and abuse like progressives have been saying for years, they'd start with the defense budget. You want to talk about real waste? Look at defense spending. But no, even there, any cuts they make are symbolic, small stuff that doesn't matter, because Elon Musk is tied to the defense industry now. So none of that gets touched. And like I said before, while they're slashing helpful programs, they're handing Elon Musk a $400 million contract for armored electric vehicles. It's a scam. Anyone who's even halfway paying attention and isn't trapped in the MAGA bubble can see that it's a total scam. Anyway, I'd love to hear what you think. This Brian Tyler Cohen and Bernie Sanders interview was packed, and I only covered the first 6 minutes. If you want to see the full thing, go check it out on Brian Tyler Cohen's YouTube channel. It's close to 20 minutes, and honestly, it's worth the watch. I'm a big supporter of both Bernie and Brian. That's it for now. This is Polyscope, and I'll catch you in the next one.